side stream.
It's not a Sound Goblin stream if you haven't forgotten something.
It's true.
Alrighty, everyone. The light is green. We're set to go, and now that the side stream is up for my co-hosts, welcome back to this final night of Quantum Break here on Sound Goblin Gaming Thursdays. I'm, as always, your host, the Krampus.
I'm Shiv.
I'm Hunter Green.
And I'm Vincent.
Alright, so unlike the last chapters, which were mostly talking with a small amount of combat, the final mission here is us just storming Monarch HQ. And probably more combat than the last 2, maybe 3 chapters combined?
Yeah, this sounds like a problem I do have with a lot of games that have powers that are really good for like either puzzles or interesting combat, that for most of the game you will be using it, and then the last few chapters just seem to say fuck it, just combat, and not even really any good use of your powers for it, just make it gunplay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'll still have all his combat power.
Yeah, but let's focus on it.
But yeah, last time we learned that Beth Wilder had actually gone through the time loop twice and has seen the end of the world. And that's why she's so determined to eliminate Paul. We learned that Paul stole the countermeasure, which is the Chronon Field Regulator.
Yep.
But we pretty much knew that the moment we saw the silhouette of the prototype schematics and the CFR.
Yeah.
Real quick, isn't that also what set off the end of the thing for the end of the
No,
time?
activating the time machine is what set off the end of time.
Oh, okay.
The countermeasure was... Basically, Beth Wilder told our brother that he needed to make the countermeasure immediately after he started the time machine and tested it. Because the way the time loops ended up working out, she knew about the end of time by that point and immediately contacted him and said, hey, your thing is going to cause the end of time. Here's some things that prove I know what I'm talking about, because I've seen the future. Now, make me a countermeasure.
It's obvious the city's going crazy. The entire world.
Yeah. You were going to send her to the first activation of the time machine. Sophia Amaral sent her to the end of time instead. And from the end of time, she got sent back to when the very first time machine was created?
The end of time?
No.
Yeah.
And you still believed you could fix it?
When the
yes, when the very first time machine was started. Because that's the maximum time that she could go back to.
Yeah.
The key to the lifeboat protocol. Monarch's survival plan. But that didn't seem to matter to you.
I had a better plan.
Also, there is a bit of a flaw with this narrative design they have of he's telling someone about this after the events. It pretty much guarantees that he succeeds. There's no question whatsoever that whether he succeeds or not.
Well, we know he lives.
But yeah, we know he lives, and we know that a Monarch boardroom is intact enough for them to have a conversation.
Also, due to timey-wimey nonsense, this conversation that he's having during the talking about what occurred could actually be happening timeline-wise, or in time before any of these events actually happen.
Except, the way she's talking about it is as if these events have occurred.
67 is also aware of these events occurring.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know that part yet, when the conversation takes place.
Except the discussion is very clearly past final confrontation with the guy.
Well, we also don't know
it's just
precisely...
before he has an interview right before having his final confrontation.
That'd be funny.
No, that's what I was going to say, is that there are games that have done that, where like the interview that's happening is before the final confrontation.
I mean, Persona 5 does it exceptionally well.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm thinking about. Attack with SMG.
In fact, everything past the point where you are caught up to the interview was what Atlas was originally saying was blocked from streaming.
We touched the time loop. There we go.
Where are they keeping countermeasure? Shouldn't be too hard to find. It's the biggest damn building on the force.
Yeah, if we actually explore around here, there's a couple of, like, weapon and armor prototypes that you can see around here. Oh! Got too close to the
close
time
to the
train.
train.
They can murder you.
And you're dead.
Yep. It's fine. We get dropped here after the train thing.
Oh man, there's so much crazy stuff happening. Reports of more and more accidents are coming in so fast, we're being overwhelmed by them. Folks, I don't know what's going on, and I don't mind telling you, I'm fucking scared because this fucking city and the whole fucking world. Oh, shut the fuck up, Barry. They can fire me for saying fuck if they want to. Do you actually think I give a rat's ass at this point? I'm trying to fucking tell people what's happening, and you ain't helping, so get off my dick. Sorry, people. I don't know why this is happening, but there's reports from all over the world. Car accidents, plane crashes, just things going haywire for no reason, like the bridge crash we had. It's scaring the shit out of me. Please, if you're listening, don't go outside if you can help it. Don't go on anything that moves. No cars, no trains, no nothing. Seems like everything that moves can be dangerous now, and nobody seems to cover it. I know it's crazy, but we got hospitals filling up all over Riverport, and it's bad, and it's happening everywhere, and we're gonna make some calls and try and find out what's going on. We'll let you know as soon as we get any new information. Just be real fucking careful, people. Stay inside. Try to be safe, okay? Okay.
Alright. Also because I forgot to over here. We started with everything else, but we didn't keep the heavy pistol. So I'm gonna pick up a burst fire. At least until I find a heavy pistol lying around somewhere.
Joyce, you hear me?
Charlie,
You're here for the CFR, right?
the countermeasure.
Well, you're kind of lucky because Serene's left the building. We're in lockdown, but the good news is I know this system like the back of my hand. I can open doors for you. All of them.
Cute.
You'll need to get to Serene's office. He's got direct access to the CFR. Alright?
Are the doors quantum shielded?
Let's go with yes.
I'm gonna go with yes, because otherwise I got so many questions as to how that works.
Not prepared for the power of the quantum door.
Listen, this whole thing is working however the fuck they want it to, so
Welcome to the international headquarters of Monarch Solutions.
just hand
This
wave.
state-of-the-art building has become world famous for its
Timey-wimey
unique
bullshit.
architecture and its iconic
Pretty
presence
much.
in the Riverport skyline. incorporating an unprecedented level of automation designed with both comfort and security in mind, complete with a zero-carbon footprint. The building provides a safe and environmentally friendly workplace for thousands of Monarch employees. Monarch Solutions. All we think about is the future.
Zero carbon footprint. Yeah, and a bunch of dead civilians.
Civilians aren't carbon footprint,
Um,
even though they are carbon.
actually,
They can say they are carbon-based life forms.
Poor bastard doesn't know anything about the train crash.
and killing them will actually release carbon, so
We found the hidden janitor.
I mean, less carbon than if they were left alive.
no, because eventually they biodegrade, or eventually during biodegrading they will release carbon, like all of it.
Yes, but that's eventually going to happen regardless of whether they're alive or dead now. Eventually they will die and release carbon.
Technically, if you keep them trapped in the time stasis, they won't release any carbon. I don't know if their plan is actually to keep people trapped in a time stasis and they can't release carbon. That seems unlikely given this corporation.
It's extreme environmentalism.
But you could technically make the game people have no carbon release.
Easy, you just don't.
Oh, sorry.
Just say easy. You just freeze them in time when they're dead. No decomposition. No carbon release.
Yeah, I just can't see this company allocating resources to that.
From Luther Talbot, let's bail while we can, to Pablo Torres. Dude, we gotta get the fuck out of this place. I don't care what it's like outside. Did you hear that speech Serene just gave? He's unhinged. He looks all fucked up too, like he's sick. This lifeboat thing's not gonna work out. I don't trust that guy to play his way out of a wet paper bag anymore. He's way out of control. He's not even here anymore. He just climbed into a chopper and fucked off to God knows where. He's supposed to be in charge. How is that being in charge? And I heard he killed a guy. What the fuck? The other thing is, that Joyce asshole's about to show up here soon. I'm not gonna be collateral damage for whatever he's got Serene. I've seen the stats Clarice had. The body count he's racked up now is insane. Who's gonna stop him? The grunts? Fuck no. They can fight him if they like, but I didn't sign up for this crap. I'm just here to coordinate shit. I'll take my chances outside. I'd rather freeze than get killed by that freak. At least that way you don't even know it's happening. I'll take that over a bullet. I'm leaving, and if you have half a brain, you're coming with me. LT.
That is the most realistic email I've ever seen because it had a typo.
There's no way for them to understand what's happening. Must be scary.
From Clarice Ogawa, Shifter Alert. To Monarch HQ Chronon active personnel. Attention, the lifeboat security protocols are now in full effect. Our stutter-proofing has failed, and we have reports of shifters in the building. You all know the drill. We have trained for this. Do not approach shifters alone. Remember that they are not restricted by the physical space in the same way we are. Deploy dampeners and watch your backs. Work in teams. Remember your tactics. Maintain your distance. Don't take any unnecessary chances. Comms are unreliable due to the stutters, so pass the word to others, and take advantage of stutter collapses to communicate as effectively as you can. We are attempting to repair the stutter-proofing as quickly as possible, but be advised that contrary to our earlier timeline, which gave us years more to prepare, we believe we are now on the verge of the final zero state, and every single stutter we encounter is more and more likely to be the one that never ends. This means our priorities have changed. The lifeboat protocol is in full effect, and ensuring its success is our only objective, whether the opposition is shifters, Jack Joyce, or anybody else. It's vital that we all remember our training. If we do things right, we will make it out of this, and we will make our way onto the lifeboat. Good luck, and make me proud. Check up here real quick.
What's going on? I thought this would be the one place things were under control.
Yeah, right. It's all chaos. This whole survival plan Monarch has, it's falling apart. And there's something weird loose in the building. I don't even know what. I mean, that's why we're banking on you to fix this mess.
Now he's flying.
was getting closer to the countermeasure. Paul had the key to fixing the fracture all along, but he didn't see it.
There was nothing to see. He believed the fracture couldn't be fixed. That's why he used the countermeasure, the CFR, to create the lifeboat.
Also, there's a lovely view of the time monsters.
What the fuck is that? Damn.
This is what you get when you mess with time.
Yeah, you get time ghosts.
Exactly.
Spooky time goes.
From Simon Shakin. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Cleanup completed. To Clarice Ogawa. Miss Ogawa, I just cleaned up the Situation Room, by which I mean I dealt with Dr. Amaryl's corpse. Listen, this isn't something I'd ever say to the rest of you guys, but you're my boss and I want to be honest with you about this. This whole thing's pretty fucked up. You know I've been in the shit. I've dealt with bodies before. Not exactly what you call squeamish, but this is just wrong. I thought Amaryl and Serene were solid, but I guess she crossed the line. And hey, if she did what they say she did, I can see why she had to go. You're loyal or you're worm food. I got no problem with that. That's how I've always worked. But there's protocol. We're supposed to be disciplined, professional. We gotta tie up a loose end, you better believe we'll do it. But we do it by the book. You bump somebody off in the middle of a meeting like that, I don't know what that is, but that ain't business. That's just some street gang bullshit. You do that, makes me wonder what else you're gonna do when things don't go your way. So I've got concerns here. Just want you to know that. Anyway, it's done. I'll be at my post if you need me. Now look, killing people I am A-okay with. But there's a protocol for this. You gotta fill out some forms, paperwork.
Not doing murder the proper way.
You in there? I'm locked out.
Yeah. I'm gonna get that door for you. Hang on. But be careful. There's a lot of scared and angry meatheads on the other side. There you go. Don't get yours.
Oh no! 2 robots with dumb small heads? There's one. There we go.
I gotta get the countermeasure.
Patented Lorovision.
Monarch had turned the entire city against them. Used threats, violence to try to wipe out any evidence of their actions. It wasn't working.
And yeah, this is just kind of a summary of everything that we've done and all the choices we've made so far. Hardline protocol is basically all the stuff that we chose in the first one. Eliminate initial witnesses, prioritize further OPSEC threats, murder everyone, hide the evidence. Speaking of murder. And haha, a heavy pistol. Helicopter going down. I like when enemies are grouped up like this at the start. It makes it real easy to just take a few out with a well-placed time explosion. Anything else? Yes. Something else. Oh, I'm sure we could read this email.
Dr. Amaral was the key to Paul's survival. So why was she killed?
Serene believed she was working against him, wanted him dead.
I wonder who made him think that.
From Vera Kovacs. Holy shit! To Alan Loden. Alan, I know I was saying there's no way Amaral would make it out of this thing alive, but now I feel just sick about the whole thing. I don't know if you heard, but she came back. Except now she got killed right here in the building. I don't know what went down exactly, but she was meeting with Serene, and she didn't walk out of that meeting. That's fucked up. I feel sick. Holden from Acquisition says she blew up the lab on some island and she wasn't actually kidnapped. She set the whole thing up with Joyce? I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, have you talked to her? She's nice. She always believed in what we were doing. I just can't believe she'd do something like that. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, what the fuck, man? Serene just killed her? Just like that? This scares the crap out of me. Please write back. I don't know what to do. This isn't what they said it was going to be. I feel the world's going to shit outside, and now I don't feel safe in here either. I could use some help here. This is seriously bad. Let me know what you want to do. V. Yeah, so even if she hadn't been framed for getting rid of Paul Serene's treatments, we learned in the last video where she died that she set up a contingency in the lifeboat protocol that if chronon readings ever got past a certain threshold, it would activate automatically and Paul couldn't undo the countermeasure, or couldn't undo the countdown. So, I get the feeling one way or another she was going to get clubbed to death by Paul Serene.
You better keep an eye out, Joyce.
Entirely possible.
That thing out there, I don't think it's gone. Okay, off you go.
Monarch was scrambling. Paul's empire was falling apart all around me. I'd never seen anything like it. But Paul had. That's what he was preparing for all those years. He didn't do a very good job.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
There? Okay. Yeah, something just tore through this place like a hot knife. A time knife.
A time knife.
Oh god, not again.
Time stabber. Time to kill. From Bruce Livingstone about my screenplay in a new video to Sophia Amaral. Hey Sophia, still haven't heard from you about my screenplay. I know you're busy with all your work, but this is really taking off in a big way. So let's try to get going on this, okay? I know this thing is going to be huge, so I just went ahead and mortgaged my house to make this thing a reality. It's my dream, and I'm going to follow my dream. And once I get the Kickstarter going, this thing's going to pay me back for the mortgage, so no problem. I already shot a short promo thing for the Kickstarter campaign. Let me know what you think. I'm going to star in it, but I've got a really cool part for you too if you want it. You'd be perfect for it. Also, like I said, I'm going to need that science feedback stuff soon. Let me know ASAP. Time Stabber.
Was that all to that email?
Yes. That was all to that email.
Oh, they're disappointing. More time knife nonsense.
Well, clearly, it's not Time Knife anymore. He's refined the idea. Now it's Time Stabber.
Sure.
They have a time machine here. Shit. This is where they brought the university core. This is Paul's machine. Looks like they have it on the top floor.
No, it's Paul Marine. Didn't you read the screenplay?
From Bernard Riker, a confession to Paul Serene. Mr. Serene, I know you're not in the HQ right now, and whatever mission you've left on must be incredibly urgent, so you probably won't read this until you return. I know you'll be very, very angry with me, but I have to tell you what I've done. Using my maintenance access, I have deactivated the stutter-proofing at the building. I know you'll be furious, but I did it because Martin Hatch threatened my family. I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared to death to tell you this, because I know you're on edge as it is, and clearly under tremendous pressure. I have admired you and your vision for as long as I have worked for you, and I want to believe you can still fix things. So you have to know that it's Hatch. He made this happen. He knew exactly what would... I'm sorry, there are now dead people at my feet, and I don't know how to fucking deal with this. They're strikers. They weren't here when I started writing this email, and now they are. That's a lot of blood. I literally had to wipe it off the screen just to be able to keep typing. It had to be a shifter that killed them. Their chronon harnesses are broken. I couldn't wear them if I wanted. But without one, I'm safe, right? No shifters outside of stutters, or that's what they told us in training. So I'm safe, and when a stutter hits, I don't even notice, unless a plane hits the building or something. God, I have fucked up so badly. People are dead because of me. Not just these two, but throughout the building. The stutter-proofing was supposed to keep the shifters out, and now, everybody must be dying, somewhere between the seconds. Everybody could be dead already. I don't know. I can't take this. And don't trust Hatch. I think the son of a bitch is after the CFR. I think he was never on our side. This is all some kind of a weird game to him. Shit, I don't know why he's doing this. I'm just an engineer and I don't know how to deal with this. It's too much, sir. I know you must be furious at me. I deserve it. Believe me, I know. But please don't take it out on my family. Goodbye. Bernard Riker, Senior Chronon Tech. So yeah, that's your explanation. They mentioned very briefly before that Monarch's building was shielded. So, realistically, the time stutters and everything should not be happening, but Martin Hatch,
Good guy
arranged
Martin
things.
Hatch.
Yep.
He's the best of guys. And by that, I mean the opposite. He's the worst.
Let's see.
He is a thing.
The helicopter going down. There's Perkins Media Analytics building. Stone Rose LLC. It's a good thing I've got infinite ammo.
What the fuck? Was that Hatch? The train.
All personnel, stay clear of the lower levels. There's a possible hazard. Repeat, stay clear of the lower levels. There appears to be a
Joyce, that's Serene's office. Let me just unlock that bad boy for you. Serene's got access to the CFR chamber from his office. I'll meet you there. Ah, there.
Paul was already gone, but he left behind the one thing I needed.
Oh. Okay, hold on, give me a second.
Well,
Okay,
it's
yeah,
all-
this is the note. Okay. Remember how I told you that we were gonna talk about Martin Hatch?
Yep.
Here's the note we were
Yeah.
waiting for. I have left this message here for you to find, so that soon, when the time comes, and I ask you to choose, you can do so with your eyes open with some hint of understanding. I have no secrets, and the only things I choose to omit are ones that you, in your current limited state, would not be able to grasp, no matter how hard I tried to make you understand. I have walked down the same path you are now on, once, from your perspective, a long time ago, although time no longer has such meaning to me. I, too, came in contact with a time machine. In my case, it was not a man-made device, but a natural one, in a cave. It should come as no surprise, really, that such things exist, much like natural nuclear reactors do exist, such as the now defunct ones at Oklo, Africa. After all, the Myers-Joyce field has its irregularities. I, too, became Chronon active. I, too, developed Chronon syndrome, and in time, I, too, lost control and became a shifter, became at once everything and nothing, was everywhere and nowhere, died countless deaths and was still alive, my every probability, every possibility happening at once. I promised I would not lie, and thus I tell you, the noise and the pain and the rage were more than anyone could suffer and not go insane. I burned in this fire for a long time. There were brief moments of awareness in this endless nightmare, different versions of certain key moments in my life that I found myself reliving again and again, trying to make things right, like a puzzle, on and on and on. I am convinced that the stutters and the end of time saved me, for those were the only places, the only times, where I could even briefly stop and rest, and slowly find focus and control again, and ultimately master this state, not emerge from it, not be cured, not go back to what I was before, for there is no such thing, but to learn to be in the one place and everywhere at once. My perception is altered, like that of someone who has seen a perceptual illusion, and discovered that the picture is both a young girl and an old woman at the same time. Once you see them both, you can never not see them. We are such limited beings. We play with just one piece, on just one square on an endless chessboard, just one life, one timeline, in an infinite multiverse of possibilities. Am I an exception? The only one who has found his way to the other side? Or is this just a shifter's brief dream before a stutter collapses? There are other shifters. You, your best friend who is now your mortal enemy, Dr. Kim, others, some of whom you know. It doesn't matter who, because they are gone, and when they emerge, if they ever emerge, they will not be who they were, just as I am not who I was before. I have done my part in helping you achieve this state. If time is an ocean with a frozen surface, then the stutters in the end of time are holes in that ice, opportunities to come up for air. I have a plan. It's already in motion, but it would be futile to try to explain it to you, like trying to explain 3 dimensions to someone who can only see one. But make no mistake, I do not look down on you. I strive for humility even as I shift this world from one state to another. I will make this possible. I stand in between. I don't see myself as a gate. I remain humble. I'm something smaller. A hatch. So, here is where we get a lot of stuff. It is where we get the background for Martin Hatch. It's where we get all of his motivations and we learn why he's doing all of this crazy stuff. It introduces the idea that there are other shifters who we know that we haven't met yet, so it sows the seeds in case Quantum Break got a sequel or DLC or something like that. But it also introduces the idea that there are natural time machines?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I feel like
I'll
the
be
idea...
honest, in a setting where you can create a man-made time machine, it is just as logical there would be a
In a setting
natural one as well.
where you can create a man-made time machine, and all this other timey-wimey nonsense, and there's a dark presence that lives in a fucking lake, you can have natural time machines.
Yes, but it's with the rules of time travel that we've established, if there's a time machine that exists naturally in a cave somewhere, theoretically, you could just go back to that.
Presumably that you can only set yourself to travel to and forward in time through time machines you are aware of. Or using a given time machine, you can only travel to points in time that time machine exists.
Also, if you had gone through the shit he supposedly went through,
My office alarm went off.
would you tell others about that
Fuck you. I'm done playing
location?
games. I'm here for what you stole.
Would you
Also-
try to have other people go through that shit?
Also, given that Martin Hatch is a stable shifter, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're not here to sell.
It's and thus
Yes, everything will
it exists in multiple timelines. It's impossible. It's entirely possible that the natural occurring time machine that he became time displaced in the shifter from doesn't exist in this timeline. Because we technically don't know if the time machines exist in every timeline that exists.
What we do know is that does confirm that both Paul and what's her name are completely wrong, and you can actually change the timeline.
That was just a couple of minutes between steps.
Maybe?
The countermeasure was Paul's prize. Everything he built was based on.
Can
Or
you change the
barely.
timeline, or can you just set yourself on a different
You better
timeline?
believe I look forward to taking it from.
Only one of
both.
Serene's treatments
Either.
survived the explosion.
Take your pick.
His time was running out.
So was everybody else's.
I mean, there's some implication that you may not be able to change time at all. These events will just keep happening the same way regardless.
What
Possibly,
happened
but
to
it doesn't mean you couldn't just go to the next
you?
timeline.
It's like you ran into that creepy thing.
The other issue being that the timeline itself that we are currently in already has time paradoxes that
17 years.
require
He
time
lived
travel
through
to send
twice.
someone down the path of doing
All
prime
of it
time
mapped
travel.
out from memory.
He knew the market
Which
trends
almost
before
certainly
they
means
occurred. He had the tools to make
there was a starting point.
and he did.
There's either a starting point or paradoxically the time travel always occurred, even though it doesn't make any damn sense.
I mean, I always like the concept of
Saw it coming. Broke him.
because time travel has
He
occurred,
refused
it
to
is
believe
therefore
it could
destined to
change.
always have
Then
occurred,
he cast aside the only
and therefore
people
there is no way to
who
have
instantly was.
prevented it from occurring.
No, it's more the if you're traveling through time, or if you do a bunch of things because a version of you from the future tells you a bunch of events that will occur and what you're going to do, and you follow those events, there theoretically needs to be a starting point where you first did that time travel to tell yourself from the past to go do things.
Yeah.
Which
be
means
fair,
there
when
should
what's
be
her
a version of you that wasn't told to do things.
To be fair, what's her face when she went back about it, she didn't actually tell herself to do stuff. She said, these events are going to occur. Don't try to interfere with them.
As she said, these events are going to occur. Here are a list of things that you need to do.
No, she specifically told herself, do not try to stop these. You can't.
Yeah, she said don't
And
try
she
and stop these. But she also said, okay, now that you believe me, here are the bunch of things that you need to do.
That's true.
Which aren't trying to stop things, which are help Jack Joyce, help, to do all the timey-wimey nonsense she got involved in. It was like, don't try and prevent 9/11. You can't prevent 9/11.
Yep.
But then, here's a bunch of things you need to do once you do believe that I'm telling you the truth.
That's true.
All right, Kravis, go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good to talk about the actual time rules here because they're trying to play it so straight and have rules that it's interesting to explore them. As a brief aside, from Sophia Amaral, Quantum Ripple Research Unit, to Paul Serene. Paul, Martin, I know you've both been arguing the Quantum Ripple Causality Research Subdivision has great potential, and we should keep it funded. I must once again implore you to reconsider. I'll be the first one to admit the technology is impressive. The fact that Doctors Morphin and Rangers can actually track the consequences rippling out from minor shifts within the Meyer-Joyce field is incredible, and the level of informational detail they managed to obtain is amazing. But here's the thing. They've been at this for 2 years now, and they have not produced a single useful result. Yes, we can trace actual events from their small inception point to the actual consequences, very much in keeping with the basic chaos theory concept of a butterfly flapping its wings, but well, so what? Every single thing that happens in this universe is a result of such a chain of events. Being able to see the chain offers no real insight to anything due to the very randomness of the process. Furthermore, it's utterly misleading. You could say that some tiny event or tiny decision in my life yesterday led me to writing this email, and that's technically true, but so did some tiny event or tiny decision in my life 15 years ago. It's all a chain. The event yesterday didn't take place in a vacuum. It didn't come out of nowhere. So what's the point? We have no control over it, we don't get to direct it, and we get no useful information out of it. Also, have you seen the reports they generate? From a technological point of view, the way they manage to automate their analysis of fluctuation signatures within the Meyer-Joyce field is impressive, but again, it's all meaningless babble with no practical applications. Their personal remarks on the reports are even worse. With all due respect to Ron and Terry and their indisputable technical expertise, I don't know what they're doing, and I'm not sure they do either. It's like they're coming up with stuff at random. The above outlines my concerns with the futility of the entire process, and I suspect that may not be enough to sway you. But I have one final point, which I think you should consider very, very carefully. The entire program is an unforgivable waste of Monarch resources. I don't mean money, although the entire Quantum Ripple Causality Research Subdivision is costing us millions and millions of dollars. But that doesn't really matter because I know we can afford that. However, there's a more vital resource they're consuming. Each time they fire up their rig and delve into the Meyer-Joyce field, they eat up a huge amount of chronon particles. Those are a finite resource, and as you know, we are projecting that the Ground Zero's yield will rapidly diminish as the fracture takes hold, which will happen very soon. You may not understand what the real impact of this is, so let me put this to you in practical terms. Every single time they detect and analyze a quantum ripple, it costs us a week of potential lifeboat runtime. Minimum. Given Monarch's primary purpose and the total lack of useful results, I believe that's a luxury we cannot afford. I recommend shutting them down immediately, or at the least during our next reorg. We can reallocate the resources to something useful, and put Ron and Terry's expertise into great use designing the lifeboat. I'm sure we wouldn't regret putting them to work on that, given their track record of working with Chronon Tech. Sophia Amaral, Head of Research.
So where are Doctors Mighty and Power?
Doctors Morphin Rangers.
We get to rummage around Paul's room. We get all sorts of stuff.
Paul spent a long time running Monarch in secret. It probably didn't help with that whole disconnected from reality thing.
Reflections on the end. I wish my memories about the end of time were clearer, but it was anything but a clear time in my life, and the world was such a jumble, a frozen mess of different timelines crashing together. I was running through my life the whole time, trying to avoid the shifters. Not an ideal state of mind for gathering intel. And it didn't help that she kept chasing me, trying to kill me. Beth Wilder, one of my own people. It was her all along. Even then, trapped in the end of time, as little as I understood about what was going on, I could tell she wasn't like me, that she didn't have the powers I did. I knew she had some kind of technology that kept her going in suspended hell. Or going in that suspended hell. Of course, I have no idea it was a device I would eventually have my people develop. I suppose I should appreciate the irony that it was her chronon harness, my own chronon harness, that gave me the idea for the lifeboat protocol. The idea that our technology could have let humanity survive the end of time. I suppose I have to thank her for that. And she paid for her sins in the end. But she left her mark on me. I know the time to pay for mine is approaching quickly, but not just yet. Back then, when Wilder and I played our game of cat and mouse at the end of time, if I'd had an ounce of control over my powers that I do now, things would have turned out very differently between the two of us. She was strong and not had the training, and I was young and weak and scared. Even so, my abilities gave me an edge. I was lucky she didn't have the full striker gear. She was the only one with the upper hand. I didn't learn to properly control my abilities until much later. In those days, they were unpredictable and operated on instinct. Control didn't come easy. Actually, you can get Control Ultimate Edition right now on Steam for a very decent price. I can't help but be aware that doesn't seem to be the case for Jack. His mastery is growing by leaps and bounds. Is it just because that's the way he's always been? Fast on his feet, bold and adaptive, or is the fracture affecting him too? I thought we could contain him. It's cost us dearly. It's not a mistake I will make again.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Ah.
To Paul Serene from Sophia Amaral. Date October 7th, 2016, 1:01 p.m. Subject: Time Machine Core. Paul, we now have finalized the plans for acquiring and transporting the Time Machine Core from the university lab. Your instructions are quite clear. We won't actually move in until your younger self has entered the machine, and the men will try to take the Joyces alive, with the understanding that Jack Joyce in particular could be a threat, and neither can be allowed to escape under any circumstances. I'm still quite uncomfortable with all this, Paul. I understand your reasoning, and I know the stakes are high, but I don't want to see anybody hurt. It's antithetical to my role as a scientist, and I wish you'd reconsider. Surely there's a better way to resolve this. Moral implications aside, the loss of Dr. Joyce's expertise alone would be a great blow. If everything goes smoothly and quietly, we will transport the core directly to the Monarch Tower via ground route. If there's commotion and it seems there's any risk of detection, we will instead airlift the core to our dry docks operation and move it discreetly from there to the HQ. The construction of the new time machine frame at the top of the Monarch Tower has been finished since last year. Once we have received the core, it will be installed into the time machine per your orders. I know you don't intend to use it, but even with the limitations of the nature of time travel imposes on us, I have to say it seems like a great waste to not take advantage of such a resource, both from a strategic and scientific point of view. To Sophia Amaral, from Paul Serene. October 8th, 2016, 2:29 p.m. Sophia, I understand why you would feel that way, but this isn't something I take lightly. It's my experience that time travel only complicates things, and while my own trip through time has given us great opportunities, it has also set me on this path. I want to control it, not use it. That said, I want to have the machine ready to use for emergencies. My foreknowledge of future events will end very soon, and it might prove to be useful to have the option of obtaining more detailed information from the future. Obviously, given that the furthest you could go back is the machine's activation at the university, visiting the past seems fairly useless. Also ensure that the machine is heavily guarded at all times. Nobody is allowed to operate the machine besides myself, and I want the corridor to remain undeployed unless I give specific orders to the contrary. As for the Joyce brothers, I intend to give William the option of joining us if possible, but I know him. He's a very stubborn and unstable man, and I don't know if we could ever trust him. I need to remind you that he built, in that ridiculous little workshop, with very limited resources, a device that broke the local physics at Ground Zero and caused my Chronon syndrome. I don't intend to give him a chance to show us what else he could do if he decides we're a target. That, along with the visions I've seen, there are certain sentimental reasons that make me wish I could let William live, but I doubt he makes it possible for us. As for Jack, I'm not too worried about him. It took me a long time to master my abilities, so Jack shouldn't be a major problem unless he manages to use stutters to escape the area. Luckily, stutters should be very rare in these early stages of the fracture. Still, I've come too far to take any chances. I prefer to take him alive, but nothing can be allowed to put our plan at risk. I'm sorry to have to involve you in something like this. You know, it's not what you signed up for, and as I said, I don't expect you to be personally involved with that part of the operation in any way. I'm not particularly happy about this part myself, and I wish I had better options, but our circumstances are as they are, and I have come too far to falter now. I hope you understand. Paul. Yes, of course, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to add to your burden, and I know that these are hard decisions. You can count on us to proceed as planned. I know you're exceptionally busy now that time is almost upon us, but I was hoping you'd have time for dinner? Yeah, it jumps to the next day. On October 9th. Sophia, please update me on our progress with the Time Machine Core relocation. Where are we with this? Thank you. Don't worry about it. We are on schedule. Your Time Machine Core from the university has been transported to the HQ, and it's currently being installed into the new time machine frame we've built for it. You'll have direct access to it from the CFR chamber as requested. And no, before you ask, you can't actually access the CFR chamber from the time machine. That elevator can only be activated from within the chamber, so no one working on the machine can get to the CFR. I thought you'd appreciate that layer of added security. I know how important it is to keep the CFR safe. Anyway, I know you don't intend to actually use the time machine, but should you ever need it, all we need to do is deploy the corridor. It's actually all hooked up now, but we're still running some final diagnostics. The tech should be ready with it before the gala's over. It's been such a long time.
Paul was a powerful man. the leader of an empire. But behind the veil, he was a dying man. The signs were clear. Dr. Amaral was the one thing keeping Paul alive, but reading through their exchanges, there was something more than professional going on.
That's not my place to comment on.
Personal notes. Dr. Sophia Amaral, October 9th, 2016, 2:31 p.m. I find myself at a loss. We knew that the fracture would arrive. It was clear very quickly that the process was occurring much faster than Paul's projections. His experiences had led us to believe. That was alarming in itself, but there's another concern. With the fracture, Paul's condition seems to be accelerating rapidly. I don't know what to do about either one of these issues. I haven't had a chance to examine Paul properly, and of course he won't consent to any real tests at this point. He won't take the time, not with the situation being as critical as it is. He has to prepare for the gala, to take care of every little stupid thing Martin trots out for him. He won't think of himself at all, and I'm afraid that'll cost us dearly. So I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I believe that the acceleration is a reaction to the stutters in time. In Zero State... In Zero State, his wave function is further disrupted by the excessive chronon energies within his body. Before the university incident, before the fracture, the condition was progressive but controllable. The lack of stutters helped keep it in check. Now its progress is rampant, and I worry that it may reach a critical point soon. We always knew that this was a possibility, but all of our projections assumed we would have years, time enough to come up with a cure, or a way to stop its progress, which means there's a very real chance that in the near future Paul's condition overtakes him, and if he does become a shifter, I don't know what to do about it. We haven't been able to help Dr. Kim. I don't know what we could do for Paul. I don't know what to do. The treatments are still working, but they take a toll on him, and their effect is greatly diminished. I'm concerned we may have hit a point where he's forced to use them so often that the treatment becomes worse than the condition itself, and yet I don't see any other options. He will not rest. He insists on doing so much. I know he chafes under his dependence on the treatments. He sees it as a weakness. I'm afraid I may lose him.
You're not... Who the fuck are you?
Joss Wheeler. I'm tech support. No, seriously. Just put the gun down, man. I'm just here to...
Joss Wheeler.
Joyce! Help! Charlie, get down!
Aw, you...
Hey, cover!
That's fair.
So the reason that didn't work is because we couldn't do the time explosion because it would have hurt Charlie.
That's all. Joyce, thank God. Shit, that could have been real bad.
You're Charlie.
Yeah, let me get this door open.
I thought you were Josh Wheeler.
I got lore to read.
They'd stockpiled all the chronon particles from Ground Zero to keep the lifeboat running.
Enough to hopefully last until a proper solution was discovered.
From Sophia Amaral, Chronon Particle Stockpile Update. Everyone, please be advised that we are now at a point where lifeboat activation may occur. Accordingly, I have ensured that preparations are underway for activation. As part of that, what Chronon Particle stores still remain at the Ground Zero harvesting operation are being moved to the headquarters and placed into the Master Chronon Particle Repository, ready to be placed under the CFR's control. Please be aware that what we have managed to accumulate until this point is very likely to be all the chronon particles we will ever have access to. Due to the fracture's effects on the Meyer-Joyce field, the Ground Zero anomaly is showing definite signs of weakening. As a result, the chronon particle yield decreases drastically and will soon drop to baseline. While we will obviously continue more traditional chronon particle harvesting operations in order to maximize our stockpile, we all need to recognize that sourcing them outside of the Ground Zero conditions is extremely inefficient, or in plain terms, unless we find another source of chronon particles, and I don't believe we will, what we have now is all we will ever have. Please be aware that all use of chronon technology eats into our limited resources, and while we of course recognize that we need to have our strikers and other soldiers operate in stutters, each operation taken will eat away at our stockpile and in very real terms cost us days of lifeboat runtime. Accordingly, we have to plan all use of this technology closely and choose our battles carefully. That said, we should also realize the ongoing situation with Jack Joyce constitutes an emergency, and will most likely require unconventional chronon particle investments. Just the same, we should be aware of the cost. I expect to see projected chronon particle consumption rates for the foreseeable future. and simulations of how long our stockpile will last, adjusted for all scenarios we have discussed. See our last meeting minutes in our next Monday meeting. Sophia Amaral, Head of Research.
The lifeboat revolved around the countermeasure. He knew Will would try to take it back. That's why he was killed. He knew I'd try to do the same eventually.
Clearly, he was right.
From Lauren McStevenson. Read me right now. CFR procedures. 2. Lifeboat maintenance. People, because there seems to be a certain lack of clarity about when it's appropriate for someone to enter the CFR chamber and mess with a Chronon field regulator, and because I just had to fire Kevin Janeway because he did that exact thing, let me remind you of the approved CFR procedure. You do not touch the CFR. Period. I may touch the CFR because I'm the lead technician in charge of it. Dr. Sophia Amaral may touch the CFR because she's our head of research and she knows what she's doing. Mr. Paul Serene may touch the CFR because he's Paul fucking Serene and it's his CFR. Nobody else touches the CFR. On occasion, some enormously lucky individuals who have been personally trained by me and are proven to be very, very dependable and incredibly good at their jobs, who don't have a track record of trying to enter the CFR chamber like paint-huffing imbeciles because they just wanted to take a closer look at it, and who have remembered to bribe the lead technician in charge of the CFR with Tom Waits tickets, may be given written instructions to perform specific procedures on the CFR. That will be a great honor and assign a significant degree of trust, and those people should be accorded all professional respect and or an appropriate degree of brown-nosing and or passive-aggressive displays of envy by their peers. Or to put it another way, you do not touch the CFR, unless you want to join Kevin in the how to stop being an arrogant dumbshit who jeopardized the only hope for a future for the entire human race because his mansplaining ass thought he knew what the CFR really needed was a random dude who knew better self-improvement course down at the unemployment office, which I'm sure is where we all believe he was escorted to by those armed men. There are no exceptions to this. The entire lifeboat protocol depends on the CFR being present, properly connected and functioning normally. You do not want to jeopardize this. This is bigger than any of us, and we are not here to fuck around. Lauren McStevenson, lead CFR tech.
I don't know. Tom Waits tickets were pretty sweet.
Alright, you know what? These armed men are going to take you to the unemployment office.
Do I still get the tickets?
No.
Bad.
God, imagine the person like gets the Tom Waits ticket and is like, well, you know, I lost the job at Monarch Solutions, but at the very least I'm going to see Tom Waits, and he goes to sing the first note, the end of time happens. Alright, sorry, Charlie.
An eternity of that first note? Might be
There
worth
you go,
it.
Joyce. You're just hoping you know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, me too.
Wait, what?
Ooh, shiny thing on the ground.
Yeah.
Charlie
There it is.
Wincott, Data
CFR.
Samurai.
Countermeasure. Whatever it's called. Help yourself, Joyce.
Such a tool. One last time. Personal notes on the CFR, January 5th, 2011. Dr. Henry Kim. This thing feels like a conundrum wrapped in a puzzle. It's an incredible piece of technology, and I feel like we're only scratching the surface of what it can do, and we've already learned so much. I thought I had a good understanding of the intricacies of chronon particles and their practical applications before. Now I realize I've still got a great deal to learn. The chronon field regulator, as I've decided to call it, is a little miracle.
Get the hell out of here.
Shush, Charlie. How such a small device can
Shut the
do
fuck
so
up, Charlie.
much is beyond me. I know it taps into the Meyer-Joyce field, but I don't know how. My experiments just show it can do it. It can also manipulate the field. I wish I knew how. Still, the mechanics of its operation give me ideas, new avenues of thought I've been trying to find for such a long time. The task that I've been set by Mr. Serene has, frankly, stumped me for years. Knowing that what we observe as the passage of time is just the result of chronon particles being constantly generated within the Meyer-Joyce field is a simple fact I've been aware of for a long time, but being able to manipulate those particles in a meaningful way, well, that's another question. The mechanics of the situation are clear, almost frustratingly so. In a zero-state environment, there are no chronon particles, and thus time is frozen. The idea of artificially flooding an area with chronon particles to enable the passage of time is the obvious solution, but actually finding a way of doing that, that's something else. Not only are chronon particles incredibly difficult to source, so obtaining enough to actually stutter-proof an area for any length of time longer than a fraction of a second has always seemed impossible. Perhaps even more importantly, the mechanism of manipulating the particles in a way that would actually allow me to define certain volume of space as stutter-proofed has constantly eluded me. Well, Ground Zero has solved the former problem for us. We're almost up and running, and very soon we'll have the ability to harvest chronon particles at useful rates. We'll be able to build a truly formidable stockpile of them in the years to come. As for the latter problem, manipulating the chronon particles, that seems to be something the CFR does with ease. Its ability to tap into the Meyer-Joyce field and affect the changes in its topology is exactly what I need. Unfortunately, I don't know how it does it. I don't have a clue. And I don't know how to effectively control these effects. But my research into the practical effects of its operation has given me ideas for a different kind of chronon technology that works on a somewhat similar principle. Except instead of tapping into the Meyer-Joyce field, it generates a similar localized field of its own, an artificial chronon particle field. And within that field, we can manipulate chronon particles at will. This means I should be able to create stutter-proofing technology, allowing us to shield a certain area from the effects of zero state. And I believe I will be able to miniaturize the technology to allow for personalized devices with the same effect. Almost like an environmental suit of sorts, with a harness that the user would wear to create a chronon field around his body. There are still many challenges here, one of which is that any significant volume of stutter-proof space will incur an unacceptably high drain on chronon particles, which are a decidedly limited resource. Obviously, with the lifeboat protocol requiring a large stutter-proof area that we can maintain for years, quite possibly decades, this is a critical issue that we have yet to solve, and Mr. Serene has made that quite clear to me. Frankly, even with Mr. Hatch backing me, the thought of disappointing Serene over this makes me quite anxious. I understand his concerns, and they are of course entirely founded, but the man's intensity is unnerving. In any case, I'm hopeful that I will figure out this problem soon. I'm hoping to be able to use the CFR itself to regulate the flow of chronon particles. Given its nature, I suspect it might be eminently suitable for such a role in the lifeboat project, and cut down our chronon consumption rate by a great margin. My control over the CFR is limited, but there seems to be a very basic functionality for it, so I'm optimistic that I can do it. I'm still looking into it, one thing at a time. We've already made great progress, and I will say that Mr. Serene's been quite complimentary with these successes, so I think he'll give us the time we need. Well, not like he has a lot of choice in the matter. I'll be honest, the CFR is becoming a bit of an obsession for me. I wish I could sit down and have that conversation and just ask these questions. How did he build it? What's it actually for? I've been denied that opportunity. A part of me wants to open the CFR up and get to the bottom of it, but the potential consequences terrify me. We have already seen what it can do if unleashed. Even worse, there's a possibility that I couldn't put it back together, and just the idea of making a mistake like that is a positively bowel-liquefying thought. Have you explained that to Mr. Serene? No thank you. So as it is, I have only dared to open up a bit of the casing to get a rough idea of some of the engineering inside. It's amazing work, and it has certainly been a lesson in humility for me. I still have a lot to learn, but I'm a very fast learner, and this has to be the most important work anyone has ever engaged in the history of humanity. If we succeed in our mission, the world will not soon forget the name of Dr. Henry Kim. Hey, you want to see a dead body?
Something had gone down in that chamber before I arrived. Whatever it was bloody. I'd seen the dead guy before.
Liam Burke.
What the hell happened to him?
He met his match. Let's move on.
It took 11 years for Will to build the countermeasure. Beth died for it, and I knew it could fix the fracture. This fucking thing. The problem was, I didn't have a clue how to use it. The only person who did was dead. But Monarch had a way of getting to him before that ever happened. The university time machine. They've got the core here.
Can we go or what?
I need to get to the chamber above.
No problem. Got a way up right here.
Thanks for the help.
No biggie. Make it count.
Yeah. You're not coming?
No, I gotta get back down. Someone I really want to get back to. Good luck, Joyce.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced you're a different model from the scientists.
Why are you going up there anyways?
Short version? I gotta go back in time and save my brother.
You're gonna go back in time, yeah, right. Whatever. You don't have to tell me, I guess.
That's somehow unbelievable seeing it, what you've seen.
I was gonna say.
It's Charlie, he's an ass. He's a dumbass.
Paul took the core of the time machine from the university.
He's not getting
Hooked it
Tom
up to
Waits
his own
tickets.
machine. It was part of his sick desire for control. But that gave me one last shot at fixing things. I could go back. Maybe get to Will before Paul killed him. And if I could get the countermeasure in Will's hands, maybe I could still turn everything around. The core was set, the machine was prepped. I had to put the corridor in place. Okay, this should do it.
Deploying the corridor. Phase 1 underway. Please clear all personnel from the
Of course.
Dude was just standing there. What was I supposed to do? Hey, you think it's a good idea to level up the servers in here, get shot?
Yeah, like
I'm sure it's fine.
No, Monaco's planned for this. All the servers are bulletproof.
All those servers are actually decoys. You're not shooting actual servers. Oh, I'll be right back.
Yep. Oh, we got two of you assholes. Okay.
You serious? Fine, let's go.
Yes, the annoying thing about this fight is that it is one gigantic fight. Luckily, the Carbine can just one-shot the time packs.
Alright, I am back.
Welcome back.
Had to get more popcorn.
Phase 2 of corridor deployment complete.
Oh, oh. Yep, popcorn. It is my exceptionally low carb snack that does not cost an arm and a leg. And isn't carrots, because boy am I tired of carrots.
You serious? It's fine, let's go. Time to move.
Alright.
Oh, you're welcome, you very slow machine lady. The machine was ready. I just needed to put in the date.
Alright, I'm gonna send a bullet back in time.
Oh, a time bullet?
Earliest I could go back to was the time when the core was first activated. At the university.
Not much time to rescue your brother.
I didn't have a choice.
You better be his enemy.
Fireworks.
Targets have escaped the lab.
What's up, fellas?
Oh shit!
So you're gonna kill 4 people in cutscene, but you're then gonna have us kill the other people?
Trevor in the lab. Core extraction team is down. Over.
Yeah.
All of them. How? Joyce,
Going in.
fire, but avoid damage to the core at all costs.
I got there after the fracture initiated. Too late to stop it all before it ever started.
But not too late to save Will. All you had to do was get to him in time.
Yeah, that was the plan.
I get it in time.
Joyce brothers escaping through the server room on the lower level.
Raider Team 3, intercept immediately. Ready another extraction unit to remove the core. Prowler Team, ready the heavies in the underground parking. I'm not hearing any response from Raider Team 3. We may have a situation.
Where the hell is that extraction team? We were supposed to have the core loaded in that chopper by now.
Hatch was right. Should have sent Liam Burke in first to deal with those Joyce assholes.
Directive was take alive if possible. Alive ain't Burke's calling card.
Because he's fucking dead.
Seriously, where's that gun?
Well, not yet.
Raider Team, Tony Sonic exiting the server.
It's over now. Target.
Luckily, that didn't happen. Quantivision. Oh.
All right, back to going into the time machine.
I hit the door with the quantum bomb. Alright, things are going swimmingly.
Friendly down. Enemy spotted. Reloading. He's all over us.
One of us will lose. And it will not be
I
me.
remembered that Will and I were heading to the courtyard when the stutter hit. That's where I needed to cut him off.
Courtyard. How do I get there?
You never tried to stop Monarch from extracting the core.
The fact that they stole it was the only reason I was able to return to the past. It's not a logic I wanted to mess around with.
Ah, this way. You fools! Too close to an anti-time bubble.
Yep.
Goodbye.
That's my cue.
When Will and I had escaped from the lab after the experiment, it seemed like Monarch was dealing with somebody other than us. That was me, all along.
HQ, Striker team is down. It's Joyce.
Raider 9, what do you mean Hell, we underestimated him. Take him out, whatever it takes.
That seems acceptable.
It's not excessive yet, I didn't do it to his balls.
HQ, we spotted Jack Joyce in the student lounge.
Bandit 4, that shouldn't be possible.
control.
I'm getting reports of gunfire in the underground parking. Are you sure it's Joyce? I need visual confirmation.
Didn't expect two of me, did you?
Loading.
I can't wait until we do it again to say, didn't expect 3 of me, did you?
Burke, the hell are you doing down here? Fuck if I know. Let's go see Wade. Burke, the hell? I need the gate pass code. They need me up there. Fuck if I know.
Alright, so now it's time to follow the time trail.
This building. Gotta round up the witnesses.
How come you get all the fun?
Probably because I'm not rocking with them yet. Hatch's orders.
Neighbor of the beasties.
All right.
665. Okay.
Get your team prepped for
You spelled 665. That was 6 digits. You're bad at this, Joyce.
I mean, 6 is in the digits.
All right, picked up this beast to the camera.
Twice.
Last time he counted fucking weight to bring the battery.
Good. Whoever's tearing through that parking lot ain't getting out here. We got contacts!
Hi, guys. Jack Joyce don't need no time powers to know how to rock. Jack Joyce is being filled with bullets.
Bullets that aren't
Jack
sending me
Joyce,
back in
distinctly
time.
not bulletproof.
I will absorb all of their bullets, so they will have no bullets to fire at me.
Break the thing.
I don't think we're allowed to shoot him. I think we have to kill the other two guys and then...
Then turn it on.
It's SMG.
No time for this. I gotta get to him.
Now I can turn off the thing.
Looks like it's plugged in somewhere else.
Oh, I can't turn off the thing. There's a laptop right there. I could just turn off the thing. I could just shoot the thing. I could use my magical explosion powers.
But that's not how you solve the puzzle.
Yeah, this isn't good.
I'm sure it's fine.
Door's still barred. Whoever's here ain't left yet.
How the fuck did Joyce take out those strikers?
Okay, gotta get to the library. Have to reach Will before it's too late.
Comic Fest Riverport. Oh, hey, Old Gods of Asgard tribute band.
Ah. Stone Crow.
Failed costume party. October 7th at Dave's dorm room. Theme: everybody is dressed as the guy who forgot there was a costume party until 2 hours before, didn't have time to buy a costume, and desperately tried to be creative and put something up on short notice, but kinda failed. Bring your own beer. Lucky Joe's Treasure Trove. Joe's annual birthday sale on now. I need Zoom for this. Get your 2016 back-to-school wardrobe at 1976 prices. All of yesterday's fashions are now available as today's hottest trends. All used clothing items at Lucky's Joe are organic, recycled, progressive, vegan, gluten-free. Lucky Joe is turning 86 and he's about to have a heart attack when he hears about these out-of-control prices. 30% off all suspenders, 25% off all flannel, 2-for-1 knee socks, 50% off Hawaiian shirts. Buying previously enjoyed clothing is eco-friendly. Warning, don't touch this poster because it's smoking hot with out-of-control deals. Oh man, Jack Joyce needs a new wardrobe.
No time.
I'm glad that the clothes are vegan and gluten-free.
And these are all just the same ones.
Shit. Too late. I gotta beat him to the library.
Time platforming. It's like regular platforming, but we said the word time.
That makes it different.
This is Airlift Prime. We've got the Time Machine Core in transit.
I mean, there's actual platforming in this game that involves time powers. You could just call that time platform.
Nope, that's different.
Nope. That is temporal platforming? Completely different.
And yes, in case you needed any confirmation, that one guy in the first act who died up there and just got shot for no reason, yeah, Beth killed him.
HQ, we've got William Joyce in the library. Awaiting orders. Over.
Gotta move, Jack.
I thought that went farther.
Really show jumped.
Joyce in the library. Awaiting orders.
Gotta move, Jack.
Roger. Keep a skeleton crew and wait for arrival of Monarch Actual. Everybody else needs to reunite at the Dry Docks Cronin Extraction Grounds. Wait for further orders there. Library is set to blow in 5 minutes.
We're not getting any response from the sniper unit. Investigating the rooftops as we speak.
Keep me posted.
I'm sure it's fine.
Sniper unit's wiped. Wait, he did that on his own. We need to find out who's unaccounted for. This might be an inside job. Let's start a... It's him! Joyce is on the rooftop! Negative! Making the shot. In the library! We're under fire!
Goddamn story's right. Where is he? I need answers.
Reloading! Keep shooting!
I didn't want to time machine the back. God damn it. Time powers need better targeting.
How is the game supposed to know that? You could be. And if it had some type of auto targeting thing, it might fail to do that. And they just can't take that risk.
Backup in the library! Stat!
HQ, this is Monarch Actual. Cancel that order, I'm on my way. I'll deal with Jack personally.
You heard him. Stand down.
Hold on, Will. I'm almost there.
First.
Okay, gotta get to the library.
I mean, you're at the library. Be more specific.
Joyce is in the library, then who'd they spot up here? Don't know, but I'm giving us 30 seconds to find out, then we get the hell out of here. I'm not gonna be caught on this rooftop when Serena...
Oh god! I'm calling on the rooftop when he shows up. Those are damn good helmets.
You know what? I'm taking your advanced SMG. Wait. Regular SMG. There we go. See, that one's already better. Oh. actually timed behind the guy.
Yep.
This is Monarch Actual. Approaching library rear entrance.
Oh no, no. Gotta get down there.
Stand by to detonate the library. I'm going in.
Fuck. Will? Already gone. Lobby. Lobby, I'm running out of time. Will.
Yeah, we got the regular way.
Trigger. I never wanted this. Come on, gotta move.
Jack. You saved me. Welcome back. Hey, Will. Here's a present. Countermeasure. How?
Where were you holding that? In your
Don't
pants?
ask.
Oh, Jack. Will! Come on! Come on, Will, let's go. Monarch had it the whole time. Does it work?
Came back from the future. For me. Fracture wasn't fixed.
Not yet. Does it work?
Theory, yes. We gotta get back to my time machine. Gotta get us back to the time where you came from.
No.
Future.
No.
It's the only
We
way.
need to stop the fracture here, in this time. Now.
Jack, listen to me. The fracture wasn't fixed in the time where you came from. So fixing it here, it's always gonna fail.
People are going to die, Will. You haven't seen what happens between now and then.
No, but you have. What you have done has set in motion a chain of events that cannot be broken.
Look, we don't know
And
that-
if it could be broken, it could jeopardize the entire world. We get one shot at this.
Do you want Time
One
Cop?
opportunity.
Because this is how you get Time Cop.
You gotta let go, Jack.
And yes, one shot, one
Everything
opportunity.
you have done to get to this place is necessary. Trust me. The past is set. The future is
Except we know that's wrong because he just saved you.
Well,
Okay,
no.
this
Well,
is...
we never saw a body.
Yeah, we saw something fall through the entrance, then we saw the place collapse, and we just thought he was
That,
dead.
yeah.
We didn't actually see what happened
This way.
inside.
If what you said is true, then how did I save you? I saw you die, Will.
Think, Jack. You never physically saw me die, did you?
I watched a roof collapse on top of you.
Creating the illusion of my death, yes. Which brought you here to make sure it remained only an illusion. It's all a loop. If time is an egg,
No egg metaphors.
Time is an egg. Shit be scrambled, yo.
get down. Over here.
Goddamn bloodbath in there. I need some air.
Cleaners better get here quick.
Wait for them to leave. Now, I know it's a lot to take in, but the fact that
We
you managed
could
to
just
save
let
me and yet still maintain the illusion of my death is actually further proof of my point.
Risky
The past
up.
remains intact.
Stick to the plan.
Nothing changes,
all
and the Novikov self-consistency principle prevails.
Oh, great. We can high five about that later.
Right. Let's save the world first.
Come on.
We don't have to.
Saving the world.
Jack,
Let's go.
Still stubborn as ever.
Runs in the family. But what were we talking about?
In summary, timely. I'm alive. Science.
Yeah, I got that.
All right, through here. We can't risk helping them.
I know what happens if I don't.
And it'll still happen, Jack. I meant what I said back there. And there are no exceptions. If you get suckered into trying to change what can't be changed, it may cost us everything. Please, Jack. Our future depends on this. You said Monarch had the countermeasure this whole time. How? Why?
Paul was using it to fuel some kind of messed up survival program.
They must have somehow repurposed it as a localized Chronon field regulator.
Oh yeah, we've been here.
I always assumed it was Beth Wilder who had
How
the
could you tell?
countermeasure, keeping it safe.
Lots of
She
dead
was the
bodies.
one who warned me, told me to build it.
So I remember the giant Alan Wake wall.
Better. Is she helping us?
She was.
Was, is, will be.
Okay.
Oh shit, watch out. Well, hey. Go this way, now.
Is it finally time with for our boss fight with Paul?
No, this wouldn't be an appropriate time for it.
Waiting for the loading screen.
There we go.
And this is why the taxi was there.
know I've kept you in the dark. When I started my work, you were so young, and afterwards, I always hoped it would all pass you by without touching you.
Yeah. I get it. Come on. Let's just go to the future and fix this mess.
There. It's locked.
Sorry, bro.
Hey, Night Owls. It's your boy, Bobby. Listen, if anybody's at the protest at the Riverport University, I'd sure love to hear from you. I'm hearing some pretty disturbing things, so give me a call here at the studio. I think we could all use a first-hand account of what's going down. I've actually tried to call some people I know down there, but my calls don't seem to be getting through. Anyway, our lines are open. We'll be right back.
3 engineers candy bars. Sorry, I had to listen to the radio. Vitally important.
Damn. Rusted shut. Jack, a hand? One more time.
When Monarch came for the time machine at the university, Paul was trapped in it. He escaped into the future. Whatever happened to him there changed it.
Somehow he found my machine there and used it to come back to 1999.
And founded Monarch. He escaped from Monarch and became what he escaped from.
Insanity. I never should have built the machine. I should have left well enough alone.
Me go too far.
Just the way I left it. Hope it still works.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go to the future. A little after your time of departure. Before the fractures stop time permanently. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about this.
It'll be dangerous.
Of course it'll be dangerous. At this point, what isn't? But I have been curious to try this. Wow. So this is what it looks like. Hey, Jack. When we exit, it'll be a little past the point you were at when you left to save me. That's our window, when we know it can work, before time actually ends for good.
It may not be much of a window. Monarch was sure it was imminent.
Huh. Like they're experts.
They kind of are.
All they know they stole from me. You worry about your end. I'll worry about mine.
All right, Will. That works.
This is amazing. All those years. I never...
Crap.
Uh-oh.
Hang on, Will.
God damn it. Got caught on the damage, right?
Oh. Will, I need to get moving. We don't have time for this.
Forget Will, Jack. However we came to be here, he's done. It's over.
What's going on, Paul? You look fucked up. And by your fucked up standards.
I feel fucked up.
You took the CFR, Jack.
I took it back. I don't care how messed up you are, Paul. You're not taking it from me.
I don't want it!
I just want it gone. Forever.
gone. What about your survival?
Fuck the lifeboat, Jack! We're just gonna let the clock run out on this and be done with it.
Now is our boss fight with Balser.
Ah.
Yeah. So basically, Paul is going to stand up there and he's going to throw time bombs.
Time bomb.
Bombs of time.
Well, it could be worse.
Forget Will, Jack.
At least it's only throwing time bombs now.
Now, however, whereas our time glows blue and is thus good, his time glows red and is thus evil.
Yeah, that could be it.
He has bad time. Does not help, it won't just start us in the fight. You have to go over here, you gotta do the thing, you gotta get into the fight.
Forget Will, Jack.
Also, the conversation there does change depending on the route you've taken through the game. If Paul is more in control at this point, he's just fighting you to get the CFR back.
Is he always the final boss effectively?
He's always the final boss, it's just the conversation you have with him beforehand that immediately changes. Yeah, nice time trick. Now you've exploded. God damn it. Reload that. Move the pistol.
Forget Will, Jack. Forget Will, Jack.
Ow. Got caught by time explosion.
Forget Will, Jack.
Bam! Time
Alright, Bailey
punch.
killed.
Yep.
Not good. No, 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 no.
Kill us, 'cause we're having away from that.
It is a shame it does not checkpoint us after that first part.
It's a real shame it's not checkpoint us after that first part. Come on. Hug.
Not good.
Protect me. Didn't protect me.
Not protected.
The terrain does not protect you.
I am reasonably certain what you have to do in there is you have to find Paul and you have to shoot him before he makes the explosion happen. I just
That would make sense.
do not remember where the hell he runs to after that first thing, because he's up there for the first part of the fight.
Yep.
Forget Will, Jack.
just a range thing?
Yeah, just a range thing, it looks like.
Vulnerable now.
Alright, where is he?
Now's my chance.
Up above?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go. Okay. Oh no, silly tiny head man. God damn it. Okay. Guess I figured out his insidious plan.
Forget Will, Jack.
So he's probably always standing on top of the time machine.
At least for the first one.
Yeah, at least for the first one.
Gotta move.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. No, camera, no.
You guys.
Ah! He got the time field up before I can make an explosion.
Hey, now we get over here.
Oh no. Damn it!
Forget Will.
This is awakening dormant memories in my head of doing this fight the first time. Just one. At this point, I wish I could. Lord.
Thanks for the heads up.
Oh, two.
Time explosions.
Three. Ha, ha, ha. Nice.
Alright, there we go.
Okay, now for phase 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Time punch.
Mighty time.
Looks like I've punched your clock.
Stop that.
Hey, Will, hey. It's okay. Jack. What? Never mind. Tell me later. We got work to do.
You got work to do.
I'll have to hook up the countermeasure to the core. It's designed to hypersaturate the Maya Joyce field with chronon particles. The time machine's like an amplifier. That'll cause a chain reaction and rejuvenate the field. It'll be a universal event.
I'll take your word for it. Just make it happen. What do you need?
The countermeasure's charge is low. We'll need a jolt of chronon particles. A jump start. That's you.
Quick, do time at it. That's a scientific explanation.
Don't stop.
Don't stop. Don't stop till you do it.
Don't stop. Quantum me.
The entire goddamn universe.
You've produced
The countermeasure.
a time quake.
It stitched time back together everywhere. The destruction couldn't be undone. The lives we lost were real. But we fixed it.
Jack. Will.
Clocks kept on ticking.
Come on. Come on. I think we just saved the universe.
Yeah. Where's Paul?
He's dead. He's gone. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Will, he was wrong about everything.
Was he?
Will. The countermeasure worked.
Whoa. Countermeasure burned out. The Maya Joyce field should be stable now. Of course, I'll have to run a few tests to confirm. But there's no reason to believe that the fracture isn't over.
One more question. Paul Serene's entire philosophy was that time is a set path, and nothing can be changed. At the time, you obviously disagreed. But after everything you've seen and done, we need to know. What do you believe now? Was he right? Or is it possible to change things?
I'll come back for you.
And that's it. I believe there is a post-credits sequence, but... Yeah, you would, if we didn't have streamer mode on, you'd be hearing music here. But since we don't have streamer mode on, because we don't want to get copyright flagged, like our Pokemon video from Monday did.
What?
Our Pokemon video from Monday, at the very beginning of it, got copyright struck.
For what?
I didn't check.
Pokemon theme, maybe?
But anyway, so that was Quantum Break. That was Remedy's... not second, that's their, like, fourth video game that they put out, I believe. They did Max Payne, they did Max Payne 2, they did Alan Wake and the associated DLC for it, and then this was their next thing after it. I think this was also after New Nightmare, or American Nightmare. But I kind of consider American Nightmare just a part of Alan Wake.
It may as well be.
It's like exotic DLC for it. So, thoughts?
It's fine. I mean, it has timey-wimey nonsense, but it's a time double story, so it's going to have timey-wimey.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It kind of does what you kind of have to do with time stories to make them not kind of contradict themselves completely and just leave stuff open-ended.
Yeah.
Which is more or less a mixed blessing of, as I think you were pointing out, this kind of ran into a, like, budgetary wall, effectively.
This was
or something like that.
This was one of Xbox's tentpole Xbox One experiences. When the Xbox One came out, this was what they were advertising front and center, along with Halo, along with all the other titles in their first-party lineup. They were teasing Remedy, Quantum Break, TV, game, mixed universe experience, mixed media experience, and they were banking on it being a success. And when it was an okay game with a decent mini-series with some real star power attached to it, and when it didn't sell as well as they wanted to, they didn't have the budget to continue going on with things.
This sounds like they threw way more money at a project, at an experimental project, than the experiment warranted.
They had the backing of Microsoft and chose to gamble with a lot of it, metaphorically speaking. And it would take until the release of Control for them to dig themselves out of that hole, so to speak. But with Control, they finally had a financial success that they could use to bankroll the project they really wanted to do the whole time.
More Alan Wake.
Yes, more Alan Wake. Like, you don't understand how precious Alan Wake is to Remedy. They love Alan Wake. If they had the choice of what project to work on next, they would not have made Quantum Break. They would have made Alan Wake 2. I like Quantum Break, even for all of its weird flaws. I think it relies a little too heavily on the emails and narrative bits to carry it. I think they could have cut out a lot of them and just put a little bit more interaction in-game. but I understand that we're talking about interactions in game when you're using the voice and likeness of A-level celebrities.
Yeah.
And
back to the whole budgetary inflation, and a lot of it is stuff that was, quite frankly, not as necessary as they probably thought it was at the time.
Yeah. Conceptually, I like the going through the different choices and how the choices actually had ramifications.
So that's the one thing I will say about it. It is actually a very interesting experiment in general with media.
Yeah.
Its success or lack thereof kind of speaks for itself, but at very least it was an experiment that you don't usually actually see from anything resembling AAA. They tend to play stuff extremely safe.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, there's a reason why you tend to experiment with lower budgets and then like scale up from there. But
yeah.
And gaming studios are also bad about doing that because it's basically like they will only do the high budget stuff, and therefore there's no experimentation, and that is where you run into trouble too.
I will say also that this is where Remedy starts to run into some issues with combat. Alan Wake was a survival horror game. It was kind of, for a very loose definition of survival horror, it threw enough ammunition at you that you never felt starved for it, but it was very much a game where you weren't meant to feel that powerful, except for like certain moments, like the concert.
Yeah.
In Quantum Break, and far more, I feel, in Control, this is where they started having far more rippy combat, where I'm going to fully admit, I'm not the best player of this. I make mistakes, my reflexes ain't stellar. I took a lot of deaths that probably a more experienced or, better tuned FPS player could do, but it still goes from 0 to dead real quick, and they had not quite figured out the gun feel they wanted in Quantum Break, so like that advanced SMG that fires real quick and takes like half a clip of headshots to put someone down. It's kind of a weird feel to the combat. It works overall, but there's a reason I held on to that precision rifle until the very end of the game. They will try and fix some of those issues in Control, but I feel like they didn't quite succeed. You can still see the bones of Quantum Break's combat system in Control. Now we get the credits for the show.
Yeah.
As far as the show side of things goes, it was interesting to see things from the Monarch perspective. And granted, we're watching a bunch of villains, so Charlie Wincott being an asshole is kind of expected. Liam Burke being beef slab thrust. Dash O Pepper here. It did its job, and it bridged the gap. I feel like Lance Reddick just fucking acts circles around most of the other people in here. Except for, not Beth, the other person. The person who brings Charlie the egg salad sandwich. I always forget her actor's name. Actress name.
I don't remember the character's name.
Yeah.
Or the actor.
But yeah, she's doing decent. Burke's wife is basically a prop. You could have replaced her with a literal store mannequin. And just had lines coming out of a tape recorder taped to its face. She wasn't like a bad actress or anything, but the writing did her no favors. She's basically just a thing that motivates Burke.
Well, she's also there in like episode 1, and then basically like forgotten about until the end of episode 3.
Yeah.
Or 4.
The other thing that doesn't help is there's 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just not enough screen time to develop to develop characters, and they have a
Like, it is nice that you basically get a segment or a handful of segments that are, like, obviously the gameplay is all based around the main character, but having all the episodes basically be focused on the villains gives you a nice viewpoint. You're not just going over the same thing you saw while you were playing.
Yeah.
But like, it's almost like they needed to have a bit more of the information that was done in various documents and emails and everything else come out in the episodes.
Yeah, that's
and make the episodes like 45 minutes or an hour, because I feel like they could have enough content to have the episodes be longer.
Yeah, if they were more just all the random intrigue between people rather than actually being... That's the other problem. They tried to put action in the episodes where you already got a bunch of action in here, so you have action on top of your action, which, like, the episodes feel like more of a cooldown period where I actually want to, like, I don't know, learn stuff about the,
yeah, like,
Monarch and the world and everything.
Yeah, like, I feel like I wanted to see more episodes, and I wanted to see more of not just the Monarch people, but, like, Joyce's background. Because Joyce leads, like, an action hero background. He's a gun runner. He's off in various corners of the globe, having adventures, doing, like, you know, Han Solo style smuggler shenanigans. And he only gets called back because of his brother. It'd be nice to see some of that, like at the very beginning, see why he gets called back, or see where he gets called back from. It would be interesting to see, like, the fight that they have at the funeral. That was, like, the big pivotal moment between him and his brother.
It's almost like the series needed an episode 0.
Yeah.
To give you some of that information before you start playing the game.
You've been very patient with us.
So rather than, like, showing up in the first episode, like the first
well, that patience is starting to
mission
wear pretty thin.
or chapter, they call it.
Of course.
I'll wait till it's done.
Yeah.
Right outside.
Mr. Joyce.
Finally. Thought you wanted to talk, not get my life story.
Well, you were at the heart of all of this. And you can understand our need to find out exactly what happened.
I heard it's all being pinned on Paul. It's quite the feat.
Paul Serene always danced to his own tune, you know that. He and his delusions did tremendous damage to Monarch. But we can still salvage this company. We can use a man like you. It's not the same Monarch you know, Mr. Joyce. Your exceptional qualities are obvious, and we both know you have certain needs our expertise could help with. We can help each other.
And yeah, there's your twist ending / lead into a next game that will never be. Where now he gets the split, like, timeline vision that Paul did. And basically Martin lays it out for you, like, yeah, congratulations, you fucking beat Paul Serene, but Monarch's still here. It needs someone at the helm to helm Chronon research, because you know this shit ain't going away. And you're going to need those Chronon treatments, too, because you're in the exact same place that Paul Serene was. And that final, like, purple and yellow backed shot, that's the same view you get when Paul was choosing his choices in the junction moments.
Yeah.
With one side being him walking away from Martin Hatch and one side him joining Martin Hatch. And it leaves on that. There's a lot of interesting places they could still go with this. The fracture's been fixed, but Martin Hatch is obviously still around. And all the implications of Martin Hatch being around.
Well, we also don't like we know Martin Hatch is effectively a stabilized shifter who can act or operate in normal time, basically, and information outside the games basically told us if you look up information that Martin Hatch basically went to the end of time saw all the different various like basically was a shifter, saw all the different possibilities, and eventually basically recoalesced into a single version of himself that exists in all the timelines and can act in all the timelines. Which is why, like, when they kill him, he just comes back to life, so he pulls another version of himself out.
Yeah, because they even went over that in one of the emails, that shifters have an infinite number of lives, because when you shoot one, they just become another version of themselves.
Yeah, he is basically a sentient shifter that operates just like a regular person does, but is aware of and basically operates every single time.
Yeah.
So
he's... Oh, it's G4C.
Yeah,
but
basically
he he clearly wants to do something.
Yeah.
Because he has something he's working on. Like, he's obviously actually against Paul Serene.
Yes, because
he
wants the fracture to occur. At least in the document that we read, it's because when the fracture happens, it's the first time that the shifter effect on him stabilized, and he could think semi-clearly.
Yeah. Like, he is...
But at the same time, he didn't oppose it actually being fixed either, so...
It might also just be that when the fracture was fixed and he didn't get his way the first time, he recoalesced into a Martin Hatch in order to run Monarch and try and move towards the fracture again in some nebulous way.
But, like, basically, Martin Hatch is still around, obviously.
Yeah. Clarice...
He had some sort of plan.
Yeah.
But throughout the game, we never find out what his plan is.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely have the whole, like, Martin Hatch is still around. You could definitely do another game going into Martin Hatch.
Yeah.
And what his motivations and what his plan was, but we're not going to get that.
Yeah, there's Clarice Ogawa, who was the head of security back during the incident.
Yeah.
Or not head of security, but like mid-level below William Burke head of security. William Burke was Super Special Awesome Man. Clarissa Ogawa is the legitimate chain of command person.
Yep.
And then you've also got his promise to try and go back to save
Beth. Yeah.
Beth. Which may or may not work. The second game in which he's trying to save Beth may or may not be like a story about how you can't change the past, or it could be a story about how changing the past has some kind of weird consequence, like, I don't know, releasing time werewolves or something. If you have been
time werewolf.
If you've changed the past, the person whom you changed the past for becomes a time werewolf. I don't know. You got time ghosts. Yeah,
I also find it a little bit weird that they do a lot of talking about shifters and shifters showing up in, like, the staggered time and everything, and being these horrible things that, like, they have specially trained teams to fight.
Yeah.
And you never really have to deal with shifters as a standard enemy.
Yeah, and I mean, we watched Martin Hatch...
Like a boss, at all.
We watched Martin Hatch rip through 5 floors of enemies in an elevator, and then he shoved us and went boom.
Yeah.
And used his time ghost powers to startle us, and just nothing after that.
It's just the amount of, like, talking about, like, shifters being these horrible things makes you feel like it's going to be like, oh, the last mission's going to have, like, shifters as enemies, or, like, the final boss is going to be a shifter, or there'll be, like, super elite enemies to be, like, the next stage up of enemy type from, like, the heavy armored smallhead guys. But then they just aren't, ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is obviously also that whole, kind of having to shove everything at the last minute type of thing, and they just didn't have room for shifters, I guess, which makes enough sense.
But anyway, any other thoughts anyone wanted to get out about Quantum Break before we break for the night?
I think that's about everything.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, I like it for all of its flaws. I think it's a pretty fun game with a couple of sticking point fights, especially that last one. But overall, I think it's worth it, and it was necessary for our continued playthrough of the Remedyverse. So thank you for joining us on our playthrough of Quantum Break. We'll be back next Thursday with some kind of game. Vince, are you going to be taking it, or is someone else going to be?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay. Vince will have some sort of new game for us to play through, which may or may not be a Souls-like.
It won't be a Souls-like.
It will be a Souls-like. All right, there you go. Predictability.
No, it won't be a Souls-like.
Oh, it won't be. Okay, I misheard.
Yeah.
Will not be a Souls-like, but it will be fun. Maybe.
Cannot guarantee fun.
Anyway, but join us on Sunday for when we continue through Super Robot Wars X, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then on Monday for Pokemon Too Many Types, which is complicated.
Yep.
Listening to
yeah,
that
no
stream
kidding.
makes my brain hurt. But anyway, until then, I've been your host, Krampus.
I've been Shiv.
I've been Hunter Grain.
And I'm Vincent.
All right, and remember, watch out for the Wen Wolves. You never know when they'll appear.